Today we're building a camera cage for a smartphone. I completed this and forgot to film, but I took it apart to paint it and will explain the build process as we go along. It's very simple and doesn't cost very much. The build should be fairly evident from looking at the pieces that I've laid out. The dimensions for mine is 11 inches wide on the flat bar, and the handles and round tubing are 5 inches. I'm building this to fit in the commuter bag on the back of my bike, so it's got to be a very specific size, but you can make it any size you need it to be. Start by cutting 1 inch wide by 11 inches long by 8 inches thick aluminum flat bar. Make a mark down the center at a 1/2 inch, and I make a mark at each end a 1/2 inch from the end to drill holes for 1/4 bolt to pass through. I cut some aluminum tubing that I had laying around in the scrap bin, but you could use a wooden dowel, piece of broom handle, or whatever you have. I found that a 1/4 nut fit very nicely at the end of the tubing. I had to jam it in with a hammer, but if you're using a dowel or a piece of wooden broom handle or whatever, you can just use wood screws to secure it in the flat bar. On the bottom piece of the flat bar, I drilled a hole for 1/4 inch bolt in the center from end to end to mount the smartphone mounting bracket. On the top piece of the flat bar, I drilled a hole in the center for 1/4 bolt to mount the microphone. I then drilled a hole 3 inches on either side of the center hole, the top piece, for mounting cold shoes. I clamped the pieces together and just rounded the corners by hand with a file. Painted black after I blow tack and static the metal, and assembled with 1/4 stainless cap head screws that were 3/8 of an inch long. That had in my hardware bin. You can use whatever you have. You can get the aluminum flat bar 1 inch by 1/8 inch by 3 foot long from Home Depot, probably Lowe's also. You can use a wooden dowel and handlebar bicycle grips if you want a little fancier handle on the end. I'm going with the minimalistic version.